You want to be distinguished. Now, I have to say, when Lynn asked me to do this topic, I kind of shuddered because she made it sound like I had all the tips for how to become distinguished. And it wasn't just me, it was the team. And last year I was area director for, well, 4 clubs. And our area was distinguished largely because I had 2 clubs that were very successful in the area. There were a couple other clubs that were struggling a little bit. And then if you want to have a distinguished area, you have to have an area director who's on top of things and who gets all her visit reports done. And I can tell from the whole tone of this meeting, Lynn is businesslike and she's encouraging you, and I'm sure she's on top of all that. I was going to start by asking you who you were, but I'm so delighted to see that I've already met some of you, like Linda and Margaret and Keith and some of the clubs. I've been to Melfort. I would love to come again, and Woodland, Northern Welcome. Just listening to you gives me enthusiasm as I hear about special events you're planning and membership drives, and you've obviously got things happening. And I think you could probably give some of these topics on how to be distinguished yourselves. But distinguished, okay. What makes something distinguished? I picture like the distinguished gentleman, and a distinguished person in the dictionary is very successful, admired by others, made conspicuous by excellence. So people speak of them as being excellent. And eminent or famous. Now, before we even get into what Toastmasters says makes a distinguished club, this is what we shoot for and what you were reporting on, I think we know inherently what makes a club excellent. So why do you go to your clubs? What makes them excellent? And I'm open for participation here. Just shoot out some answers. How do you know a club is worthwhile attending for you personally?
They're engaged in what they're doing. They're
Right.
asking their guests to partake and have guests.
Mm-hmm. They have guests, yes. And they're
And it's
engaged.
fun.
Definitely.
It's fun, and you're laughing and you're getting together and having laughter.
Yeah, there's
And
fun.
learning.
Yeah, laughter and learning, right? Yeah, good. Anything else?
Their meeting goes by just like that.
Yes. What do they call that? Flow, when you're doing something and you're enjoying something so much, you don't even know where the time is. Yes.
They usually have at least one speaker, if not more.
Oh, for sure. Yes, yes. I guess that fits with being engaged too, right? And it's planned ahead of time. Any other thoughts? Okay, well, even some of the things you said in your report, but definitely those are key things. Engagement, learning, laughter. And then we have Toastmasters criteria. And I hope your eyes don't glaze over at this. I was trying to put it should be DCP up there, Distinguished Club Program. These are the goals that Toastmasters International says you need to have. So you have education goals, you have membership goals, training and administration goals. So where are the bulk of those goals? What makes up most of the goals?
The educational.
There you go, 6 goals under education.
Yeah.
But if you notice at the very top, it says they want us to have 20 members or a net gain of 3 members. So in order to even qualify to have all your educational and your training goals count towards distinguished, you have to have this base of membership. Now, most clubs do not have 20 members right now.
No.
That was an older value, and I think through COVID they had to realize that they needed to be more flexible, because it used to be 20 members or a net gain of 3. Now they've said for this year, a net gain of, or sorry, it used to be a net gain of 5. Now it's a net gain of 3. So some of you mentioned you have 10 members. So if that was your base membership back in July of last year, if you had 10 members then, if you get 3 more members, you qualify. You have enough membership strength. And obviously you want more than even 13 members if you can, but they've learned to be a little bit more flexible as we recover from COVID. Why do you think for the membership goals, you get 1 point under goal number 7 for having 4 new members, and then you get another point, number 8, for having 4 more? Why do you think they want you to have so many new members? What do new members bring to the club?
More faces.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the old bathtub theory that you have a tub full of bath water and you pull the plug out, let some out, and put the plug back in, add more water. It just keeps everything warm.
I haven't heard that one. That's good.
Because there's some are going to go, they're going to leave, and then other are not do anything, and then you need those more members to bring it back in again.
Well, see, that is very true, because I've heard it said that every year in a club, you expect to lose a few members. People move away, people change their jobs, maybe they have a baby, life happens. And so there's always going to be a few that leave, even if they love your club. Their life just goes a different way. So you always have to have an influx of new members. So I guess the bathtub theory, that's very good. Yes.
You'll have to keep.
New energy, new ideas. And then training and administration, you guys talked about training. So they want you to have a minimum of 4 members times 2 for each training period. The club dues for each time, and that's to submit names and dues for a minimum of 8 people, 3 of whom are renewing, because 8 is charter strength. And then they want you to have your club officer list to TI in time when you elect the new ones in May. So there's all these big goals. And you know, I bet if you brought this to your clubs, like the first couple years in Toastmasters, I couldn't have told you what a DCP was. I didn't have a clue. It wasn't until I offered to help with the newsletter and they were talking about it. So I think a lot of basic Toastmasters who just joined don't even know what this is. But again, what makes Toastmasters excellent to you? It's the learning, it's the fellowship and laughter, it's the new faces, new energy. And in terms of those goals, do you think there's one that's more important than any other? If we think of education, membership, training, admin, what would be the most important?
Members.
Okay, why do you say that, Lynn?
Without members, there's no Toastmaster.
All right, okay. And another thing, I would agree with you on that, because when I was area director and visiting clubs, the clubs that had more people have more energy, because you've got different personalities in there, different perspectives. You've got some weird wacko guy here who's kind of funny when he speaks. And then you've got Mr. Serious and Reflective over there. And then you've got the person who is amazing at planning, and you bring all those talents into one club, and there's more variety. And it's also, as some of you mentioned, in filling roles, it's a lot easier to fill your roles if you don't have just a few members trying to double up and do the same thing. So when you talk about membership drive, really important, because your club, I think once you have a club base of at least 20 and you keep it up, it's almost easier to keep that membership up because there's so much happening in every meeting. My home club was Southern Lights here in Edmonton, and I stepped away for a little while because their dues were quite expensive. And then I've joined back now. And you know, when you walk in that room, there is so much energy. There's usually about 15 people in person, a few people online, and they never have trouble getting members. Guests come and they come back and they join because there's so much life and enthusiasm. Whereas in smaller clubs where there's not as much life as enthusiasm, it's harder to have that. But it sounds like you guys have it. And it sounds like you guys are working with that challenge by prioritizing what roles are important. So you're well planned, but you're sharing with other clubs, so you're not burning your own members out. And I think that if you're sharing with other clubs too, then you're naturally bringing that extra energy and enthusiasm along. And as you get more members coming, then you can decide, okay, maybe we're going to branch off here and Northern Welcome, and then Woodland might branch off another day. But to think that a college has come to you and asked you to present, like, I mean,
Excellent.
that's amazing. Many clubs, we're begging for opportunities to get to the college and tell them, and they're coming to you. So obviously your clubs have good reputations. So I think you're on the way for that. I think the training is important, because if your executives are not trained, they're not going to be able to help your members quite as much, right? So it's important for that service. Okay, what parts of the Toastmaster meeting are valuable to your personal and professional growth? When you look at the agenda, what parts do you find most educational, most valuable?
I like the speeches and the table topics.
Okay, and what do you learn from those parts?
I like the speeches because you learn different things, especially when the icebreakers go around.
Yeah.
Teach you about this new person in your club, and then the table topics. Well, it's taught me how to learn to speak to management without getting red in the face.
There you go. There's a, except you're red today. There's a testimonial, right? Okay. One more person. What has been really valuable? What part of a meeting?
The educationals are always interesting. You always learn something new, or even just the fact that on your break that you engage with whoever's at the meeting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's many valuable parts. Even I know evaluation has been really helpful for me at work, that I know how to give feedback to a coworker in a way that doesn't hurt their feelings, that helps them grow but still benefits the positive. So those kind of testimonials can help bring in new members, and really can help our current members really appreciate, if we talk about those things, to really appreciate what they're getting. And why do you keep going back? I think that's a question to ask every meeting. What's going to keep people coming back to this meeting? Because members are your foundation. And then you add in your good planning and your meeting variety and themes and guest speakers, which you're already doing. Okay, whoops. Moving along here. So my big focus here is that we have all these goals for the club, and TI comes up with these goals, but really what it boils down to is service to the individual. And when I was doing the area director role, the biggest thing I learned about leadership is what a mentor of mine, past international president Neil Wilkinson, said. He said, the chief of police in Calgary years ago, 1995, was Christine Silverberg. And she said, leadership is all about relationships. And I realized that it truly is, that you're not really leading clubs, you're leading individuals. Because if you as club executives are taking interest in your individual members' needs, so let's say Joe's been around forever, but is Toastmasters meeting his needs right now? What new goals does he have? Or what's going on in his life that maybe a Toastmaster can just come alongside and support him if he's not in a place to be, pushing through? We all have those difficult times, but he just needs to know that his Toastmaster family cares about him. Or maybe we want to challenge people for new goals. Like after people been around Toastmasters, what are the next steps? Do they want to be an area director? Or if they don't have that kind of time, well, maybe they want to plan a contest. Or someone here mentioned something about a person doing an HPL as a membership drive. So there's other challenges. So you as the executive members need to take interest in individuals, new members, making sure they have mentors, making sure they feel supported and they know how to take the next steps, because that's what's going to make your club strong. And just to remind ourselves of the club mission. So I think if we are fulfilling this club mission, you know, a supportive, positive learning experience where members, that's our individuals, are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, giving them greater self-confidence and personal growth. I think if we're actively seeking to develop that in individuals, our clubs will grow. And even in the area last year when I led, when I could get to know people and help them discover their strengths and give them places to shine, that's when people exceed. And really, leadership is guiding people, and it's not really making yourself look good as a leader. It's giving other people an opportunity to shine. And I think when we have that individual focus, our clubs will continue to grow. I think my last quote is hid by my floating controls there. Can you see it? That leadership is about relationships?
Yep.
Yeah, so true. I find that true everywhere I go. Now. Okay, tools to develop and sustain our excellent clubs. So if Toastmasters gives us these goals, we have the club mission and we know we're focusing on that. That's how to be distinguished. And MOT, does that remind anybody of anything?
Mon.
What could it possibly stand for in the Toastmaster world? 3 words. And your area visits, your club visits are all about these. And again, I didn't know about these until I became an area director, which is sad. Moments of
Truth.
Yes, moments of truth. Okay, might seem a bit hokey, but when I think about successful clubs through visiting clubs, every successful club does these 6 moments of truth well. So they are first impressions, membership orientation, fellowship, variety and communication, learning and laughter, program planning and meeting organization, membership strength, achievement and recognition. So again, I think sometimes, you know, these little TI rules, it might seem a little bit, planned or, you know, like overly nerdy to focus on these things. But regardless of that, however you think of these ingredients will make a club successful. And I can tell from hearing you guys talk about what your clubs are doing that you guys are doing these things. And I think once you're doing them, really to be successful, you're looking at how can we do this more? So first impressions, just one person shout out, what might that include?
Well, first impressions for me would be making sure that those meeting roles are filled, or the key roles filled.
Yeah, so, and you said making sure they're filled so if guests come, we don't look like we're scrambling, right? Having the room set up nicely, well organized, welcoming people. Membership orientation, what's one thing there that you can do for that?
We have some shy people in here. There's only a few of us. Hey, everybody, unmute.
And when you get new members, you can put them through the membership orientation.
Right, and so having an orientation, mentoring, having someone help show them the rope, or even you get a guest and if you're in a place together in person, maybe a buddy sits beside them to kind of show them you know, what people are doing. If you have got those ballots, or online, maybe someone goes to a breakout room afterward and says, what do you think? You know, membership orientation, fellowship, variety, communication. What's one thing there? Lynn mentioned the learning and the laughter.
Having unique meetings,
Yeah.
excellent different table topic sessions.
Yeah, themes. There's some planning that's gone in behind here. You guys mentioned guest speakers. And here again, program planning and meeting organization, membership strength, and achievement and recognition. How do you guys recognize people when they earn their paths or levels?
We have certificates for people that earn their levels, and for when they have a path, we actually have pins for them.
Oh, you guys get the TI pins for them.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Anyone else?
We're just waiting for Lynn to finish her path here so we can give her her pin. She's close.
It's close.
She's so
Those
close.
pins are nice. The clubs I go to don't do that, but I finished one path recently and it's like, I want a pin, so I ordered one. Does anyone give out ribbons for best evaluator or best table topic speaker? No? Okay.
Give out what?
Ribbons.
Ribbons.
Sorry,
No, we
ribbon.
don't do that. There's some clubs that do it. PA Toastmasters does do that. We give out a little certificate. It was just mostly a virtual thing for table topics winner.
Yeah. Some clubs post the winners online. So those things you want to include. Okay. And then your club success plan, again, another TI. I think,
Wait,
you know, whenever,
wait.
pardon?
PA Toastmasters has, during their meeting, they have little trophies.
Oh, yes.
I love the little trophies they give out. If you can't keep it,
Yeah.
they give it out during the meeting for the best in whatever and best in whatever and best in whatever. They have best evaluator, best speaker, best whatever. I think they have about 4 trophies.
So you get bragging rights to hold it up and get your picture taken, and then you return it to the club. That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, that's fun.
It's cute.
So, yeah, it is. It's fun. So your club success plan, and again, I think clubs get annoyed when the area director comes around and, oh, we'd like your club success plan. But people need to realize how important any kind of success needs a plan. And it doesn't need to be written in stone. I think a club success plan should be like a budget where you've got your goals and you're going to do this and this and this, and then you revisit it as different things change, right? So I think as an executive, just revisiting your club success plan. Is this plan working here for item A? And if yes, great. How can we keep doing it? If not, well, how can we change things? It's a working document. And on the left side, I think celebrate your successes and spread the word about your clubs and just what you guys are doing. You guys know how to be distinguished. You don't even need me. Continue with growth through speechcraft, community events, involvement and leadership of the district. There's probably several people in your clubs that could easily get involved in serving as area directors, division directors. And then for the areas where you're challenged, and I hear membership is a challenge all the time, and it is for absolutely every club. So seeking information and problem solving, whoops, going too far here. Club coach resource. I know Rebecca Cuthbertson-Holst has an interesting club coach program going on. Pathways mentoring, even get your members to do the module for mentoring so they can help each other, and visiting other clubs for ideas. So all these things you talked about are ways to become distinguished. And being, as you are, champions of perseverance. And I put the mountain in there because in my division, I'm losing some clubs because they don't have enough membership. And that's happening all over the district, that some clubs are really strong and some clubs they're hanging in there. And I don't think that is because the clubs themselves are not good clubs. I think there's a lot of social change going on with coming out of COVID, and the whole mishmash of figuring out, our club's going to be hybrid, are they going to be online, are they going back to in person? And some of the clubs that used to always have great meetings in person, now they're looking for a place to be. And people have different ideas about how much they want to commit in a club, and even some people, how many people they want to be around. And so I think that mountain, I think if you've got 11 solid members and you're doing these things, your moments of truth and looking at your DCP and reevaluating your club success plan, I think you are successful. I think we have to realize the club success is not just about numbers. It's about, is it valuable for those individuals, back to individuals. And if you get to the point where the numbers meet and you meet, distinguished club success status for the year, celebrate it. But if you don't, I think you can also, as members, say, here are the things we've done. Here are the members we've grown. The fact that members keep coming back, that guests join, I think you could say in your own mind and heart, yeah, we're distinguished, because there's different ways of measuring. And ideally, you want to get to that TI measurement. The TI has to have some sort of standard, right, for quality of clubs. But from what we've gone through, I would say encourage you to shoot for that, but don't give up if you don't quite get the numbers. I think there's more way to evaluate success of a club. And I'll give it back to your wonderful area director. And if any of you have questions or feedback for me, please let me know.